Tracy here at Micro Farm Starter. This is kind of like a makeshift video. We're actually on our way to a meeting for a Superfoods Association. And the thing that's interesting about this is not long after I decided to start doing microgreens, which is a superfood, I got this email that they're starting this Superfoods Association. So we're going to join that meeting today and find out what it's about, and hopefully we make some good contacts. There's going to be some people there from IGA stores and a couple other possible contacts, and hopefully it's fruitful.
Hello.
You about ready?
Almost. Grab my bag.
It might not seem like it, but this is a very important step. Okay. The stove is off. You get halfway down the road, it's like, oh, is the stove on? Is it off? Is it on? I don't know, let's go back.
Stop it.
We know that now it is off. The stove is off. Okay, so here we are leaving, and this meeting is actually in Bowling Green, is where it is, which is about a little bit over an hour and 15 minutes from where we currently live, and not very much, but maybe give you a little quick view of our house, our huge house that we're wanting to sell. Actually, it's a pretty good location. It's quite pleasant here. Just a little bit more than what we need as far as the house, and a little bit less than what we need as far as the land. Okay, so we're heading out there, and hopefully it turns well. Okay, so we're back from the meeting that we went to, although it's been quite a while, several hours since we've been back. We decided to just relax, and we watched some YouTube videos and just kind of unwind. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the meeting. The meeting we went to is the Kentucky Superfoods Growers Association member drive. And there were some speakers there from different places. There was IGA representatives. It's a major grocery store chain in this part of the country. Also, there was someone there from Louisville Farm to Table, and there's also someone there for the grants, applying for government grants, and a couple other people there. So it was really definitely a worthwhile meeting to go to. Just to get a little backstory real quick. We did belong to the Kentucky Blueberry Growers Association, but we never actually got the blueberry farm off the ground. There's just a lot more infrastructure that we didn't have, and we were just working towards to just have that dream of someday making it to the point of bringing the blueberries to market. Just a lot more involved in it than what you might think. So anyway, kind of fast forward to today, or to the present anyway. Whenever I started looking into microgreens, and I decided that we're going to do microgreens. I just went ahead and said, we're going to take the plunge, we're going to do it. It doesn't take as much infrastructure as, say, blueberries or maybe some other type of farming. So it's something that I think that we could actually pull it off. So that's the main reason why we're jumping into it. And as soon as I made that decision, like within a few days, I get this email from the Kentucky Superfoods Growers Association and talking about a member drive. And I was like, whoa, now that's something about timing right there. Talking about superfoods, microgreens is probably one of the number one superfoods around. It has about 20 to 400 times the nutrition. So that's a very superfood. So I thought that was, pretty much the hand of God, that took place in that kind of timing. So that's why we went to the meeting, and I was really encouraged by the meeting, overall. What was your impressions on it?
They had a lot of good speakers, and they had the people from the IGA and the people from the IGA. They were really wanting to encourage people to grow more yellow squash and tomatoes and healthy foods that were grown locally, so that they taste fresher, taste better. And then the people that were wanting to start to co-op, they said that Kentucky was, what was it again, 40th in eating healthy.
Is out of 50 states, we rank lower than 45 states when it comes to eating healthy.
Yeah,
as far as Kentucky is concerned.
And so they thought that was they really wanted to help people eat healthier and to push fresh fruits, healthy vegetables at the local grocery stores, so that everybody can get them and eat healthier around here. And so I thought that was really good. And there was a lot of people talking about grants and things like that.
Right. I think the problem isn't lack of interest as far as the population is concerned, because there is a growing health consciousness that's growing in this country, where people are getting more and more conscious of the benefits of eating healthy, how it can help you be even healed from things like cancer and diabetes and different things like that. Just by simply changing your diet, eating healthy, you can actually be cured of a lot of these conditions. I think a lot of the awareness of that is really being raised up, mostly through YouTube and other places like that. So it's not. I don't think it's a lack of desire. I think it's just a lack of availability. It's just no farmers in this state, or at least not enough farmers in the state, are really concerned with that. This is traditionally a tobacco state, and when you have a state that's traditionally one crop, for the most part, then there really isn't anything else going on. It's just that one crop for the most part. You might, like you were saying, might be corn or soybeans or something like that, but it's mainly tobacco. So that's the reason why. And I think that it's a perfect opportunity for a niche market. When you get into something where basically, everybody always talks about, if I could have only been around back then, before Microsoft took off, or if I would have just been around back before the oil industry got started, if I could have just been around during these times when these things took off, then, who knows, I could have been a wealthy, rich person, obviously there were people around during those times, and they didn't end up being wealthy or rich either. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of a silly question. But people do say that, think about that so many times. But, when you're in that situation, you got to be able to recognize it. If you're in a situation where there's no one else out there, there's no competition, right? And the playing field is open. It's open and set before you. You have to be able to recognize that. And then when you recognize that, you have to be able to blaze the trail to make that happen. So that's what it comes down to. So I think it's a really good opportunity that's sitting before us right now. And, when you just basically let people know, it's like, look, we're here. This is what we've got. This is available, and then allow the people to respond. And they've already had a really good positive response from people in this immediate area as far as selling blueberries. I think they're going for $5 a pound. And even when blueberries in the stores are less than $5 a pound, like whenever the bigger states like Michigan and New Jersey, places like that are really known for their blueberry production, they come into harvest about a month or so after Kentucky does. So even when they come into harvest and they flood the market with all of their blueberries and it drives the price down, right? They were saying at the meeting that they're still charging the $5 a pound locally here, and people are still buying them. Even though everyone else is selling blueberries cheaper, they're still buying the more expensive ones because they taste better. That's basically it. You grow them, or I don't want to say the word. You grow them all naturally. Strange, I can't even use my own English language anymore. You grow them all naturally, and using even some OMRI organic certified fertilizers and things like that. I can say that because they're certified, even though we're not. We are, they are. So I can say it for them. Crazy. Anyway, even though you do all that stuff, that's going to make it taste better. You raise it all natural. You don't use any of the chemicals. And I use that word, I guess, kind of loosely, because everything biological is chemical. So it's just your organic chemicals, and you got your drug chemicals, and you just got different chemicals. This is different states, but I guess it doesn't matter. Most people recognize chemicals as like drugs and stuff like that, and they recognize organic as being non-chemical, even though it's chemical too. Anyway, so when you use the more natural state things, use things that's in the more natural state, and not so highly processed and isolated as a lot of the chemicals are, then what you end up is you end up with a product that is safe, you end up with a product that's nutritious, and you end up with a product that tastes good. So people are willing to pay the money even when they had the cheaper stuff that's covered in pesticides and everything else. It affects the flavor.
Wasn't there that one gentleman with the mineral company?
Yeah, the guy who talked about
Monty.
the soils.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Monty.
Yeah, the Monty guy who was talking about the minerals and
they said when you
mineralizing the soil.
So when you mineralize the soil, that it makes them even more flavorful. They say.
Oh yeah, it makes it more flavorful because
and healthy.
It's just like what we've heard and seen in so many videos about the human body, right? The human body, when you give the human body all the building blocks it needs, it can do amazing things, even cure itself of cancer. You have to give the right building blocks, and the human body will take those building blocks. If it has the right supply, it will do amazing things. And a very similar thing happens with plants. If you give a plant what that plant needs to grow and flourish and fruit, and you give the plant what it actually needs, then what's the plant going to do? It's going to flourish. It's going to put forth a lot more fruit than normal. It's going to improve the flavor. It's going to be closer to the way the plant was designed by God. Okay, so I'll put that in there. So that's, when you bring it closer to the way things are designed, and you give those plants what those plants are designed to receive, then you're going to get the best possible results. And it just makes sense. What you put in, you could expect to get out. You invest, and you expect a return from that investment. It's a pretty simple logic. But so yeah, it's really educational, learning about the different mineral stuff. Most of that was over my head when he was talking about can't remember the names of the scientific names he used, but there's just different. He was talking about the different types of enzymes that plants produce. Yeah, the hummus.
Hummus. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
Uh,
It's similar to hummus, but it's not hummus.
No.
But yeah, just different words. We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was over my head. But I did appreciate that the guy knew what he was talking about, and he was talking about mainly the minerals. He was talking about like stuff like potassium, manganese, calcium, and then other things like cobalt that most people don't talk about. Talking about iron content, just different things. And he knew what he was talking about, even though it was over my head. And then, of course, they were selling their additive, which even though it's not all organically certified, it's actually, some of them are on that road to being organically certified.
Yeah.
Basically, they're using all natural ingredients. It's just that they have to go through the process in order to be certified. But see, anyway, I would be confident to use their products based off what he said. So it was a really good meeting altogether. I'm encouraged by it. I'm glad we went. Even though I was a little discouraged hearing the IGA guys talk, because they were talking about large volume. You're talking about supplying all the stores between Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Georgia too, yes, from Georgia all the way to Pennsylvania. That's a lot of stores. That's a lot of stores, and it's way too much for one guy. Okay, it takes an organization or several organizations to meet that need. But the fact that they were even there having a dialogue was encouraging to me. That they even took time out of their day to come and speak to us, show that if we're able to meet the demand that they're asking, they're willing to open their door to us and deal with us. So that's really encouraging. And I was just encouraged about the blueberries, because even though I thought the blueberry dream was dead with the Kentucky Blueberry Growers Association, I don't know if I explained that yet.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
That's okay.
that was in the last take that we destroyed. Okay. The Kentucky Blueberry Growers Association that we used to belong to got sold and disbanded. Okay, things didn't go well with that. All my blueberry dreams were, as far as I was concerned, dead. And I got to tell you, it was confusing to me, because I was just so sure. I was like, man, I was so sure that was something the Lord had put before me to do. Because there's so many things surrounding it. Maybe I'll share that in some other future video. Mm-hmm. That I just knew it was just the hand of the Lord. And for all of it just to never pan out, it just confused me. And I was well, maybe I was wrong about that. And I'm always willing to admit that. If I'm wrong about something, I'm not going to blame it on God like so many people do. A lot of people like to blame everything on God. But if I got it wrong, is it God's fault? No, it's my fault if I got it wrong. So I'm always willing to admit that if that's the case. So I was thinking, well, maybe it was just me. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I misunderstood somehow. But now at the meeting, almost everybody there was a blueberry grower, and they're talking about pushing blueberries, and they're excited about the blueberries and all that stuff. And I still have blueberry bushes, even though I neglected them. I still have them. So maybe my blueberry dreams could be resurrected. And maybe it really is the Lord, and I just have to learn patience and long-suffering and diligence. So maybe it's something I need to learn through this. I'm still going to push forward with the microgreens. And I just shared with my wife on the ride home is that maybe the microgreens could be a stepping stone for the blueberries. I could use the microgreens to get me out of my 40-hour-a-week job to free me up to where I could maybe do something with the blueberries. And really, to me, I think the blueberries would be more attractive to me because you have one harvest time, So it's basically a month or, 2 weeks, but 2 to 4 weeks is the harvest time. It happens in around June, July timeframe. And, that's the busiest time is when you're doing the harvest. For the rest of the year, if you got drip irrigation, you're doing mulching, you're uh, uh, putting down your fertilizer once or twice, like maybe once a month. You put down some natural fertilizer on there. Uh, for the most of the year, it's not very time consuming. It's something that if I could make all the money for the entire year in that 1 month of harvest and then bring them and then sell them and then get my paycheck, and then that could be my my salary for the whole year. Then the rest of my calendar, the other 11 months are freed up to go preaching and to do things that are more meaningful or most meaningful. So it freed me up to do that. So I'm still really wanting that to happen. So yeah, maybe the microgreens could be a stepping stone into the blueberries, and which could be a stepping stone into freedom. Yes, I said it. So I'm really encouraged. Really encouraged. So stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the little bell thingy there so you'll actually get notifications for new videos that come up. And if you don't like the we call it the quality of the video, I'm always willing to receive a high quality camera if you want to send me one. Just let me know and I will receive it. Until then, I can't afford it. So just like, subscribe, and hopefully things will work out.